Importance of speech acts and events for communicating. In order to decode meaning, it is important to know how necessary are speech acts and events for communicating. Speech acts are expressions performed via utterance like apologies, complaints, compliments, invitations, promise, and request. The speaker expects that the listeners recognize his or her communicative intention depending on the context. Example: I'm sorry, I forgot the homework. Besides, it is important to mention the three types of speech acts. The first one, the locutionary act, is the performance of an utterance and a speech act making reference to the surface meaning of an utterance. Example: don't go into the water. Second one, the illocutionary act is an action performed by an utterance, an statement, an offer, or an explanation for other communicative purposes. The illocutionary act, also known as illocutionary force of an utterance, is the speaker intention of that utterance. Example: how's that salad doing? Third one, the perlocutionary act is the performance of an utterance that produces an effect, intended or not, achieved in a listener by a speaker's utterance. Example: please find the black cat. Of the three dimensions, the most discussed is illocutionary force, because the same utterance can have quite different illocutionary forces. In order that the speaker assumes the intended illocutionary force will be recognized by the hearer, it is necessary to consider two things: the illocutionary force indicating devices, which is any linguistic element that indicates or delimits the illocutionary force of an utterance. The most common are performative verbs. These explicitly name the illocutionary act being performed. Examples: I promise you that I will be at 7 o'clock. I warn you that I'll see you later. And the felicity conditions. These cover expected or appropriate circumstances for the performance of a speech act to be recognized as intended. Thus, the speech acts are important to communicate with others and decode the meaning of the utterance. Meanwhile, a speech event is an activity in which participants interact via language in some conventional way to arrive at some outcome. It is a set of utterances which constitute a recognizable speech event like a conversation, a joke, a sermon, an interview, etc. Furthermore, a speech event can be defined by an unified set of components throughout, say purpose of communication, say topic, say participants, and say language variety. Example: asking the time. Speaker A: what's the time? And the speaker B: it's 1 o'clock. Speaker A: thanks. To conclude, speech acts and events are very important for communicating and decoding the meaning of an utterance.